Welcome to the Great Plains Housing Authority Section 8 Housing Application Walkthrough. The purpose of this walkthrough is to help explain the application process for vouchers from the Great Plains and Dickey Sargent housing authorities. We will review a basic application timeline, necessary verification paperwork, filling out the application, and next steps. First, the housing assistance timeline. Most applications follow a fairly standard order of steps. To begin, the household must pick up an application or access our application online at greatplainsha.com. Then, once the application is complete and the appropriate documentation is put together, the application is submitted to the office. Once submitted, the application will be reviewed. If any items are missing, they must be turned in before moving on to the next step, being placed on the waiting list. Once the household reaches the top of the waiting list, they will have their initial appointment. If there have been any changes in income or to other parts of the application, that information should be provided at this time. After the appointment, the housing voucher and request for tenancy are issued. Now you can enter the private rental market to find a place. Once a rental unit is found and the request for tenancy is returned with an unsigned lease, an inspection will occur. If the unit passes inspection, then a contract will be sent to the landlord, and housing assistance will begin for the household in the chosen rental unit. In order for an application to be considered complete, there are a few items that must be included. First, all members of the household must turn in a copy of their Social Security card. Adults will also need a copy of a valid government-issued photo ID. Minors will need a copy of their birth certificate submitted. Verification for any income or assets should be submitted as well. If applying for local preference, proof of address must be provided. This can be a current lease, utility bill, or postmarked mail. Finally, make sure signatures are provided on all forms by all adults in the household. When submitting income verifications, they can come in a couple of forms. First, there is earned income. This is the income you would receive from employment. You must provide your 2 most recent pay stubs, or if newly hired, an offer letter from your employer. All adults in the household must supply proof of their earned income. Next is unearned income. This is Social Security, food stamps, child support, and any other general assistance. Eligibility is calculated on all sources of money received by you or money received by you on behalf of your children. Finally, there are contributions. If you have any individual or organization who is helping you with your bills on a consistent basis, you must report this as income. Income eligibility is based on both the income and the number of people in the household. These numbers are the same for both housing authorities. Great Plains Housing Authority covers Foster, Logan, Stutzman, and Wells counties. The Dickey Sargent Housing Authority covers Dickey and Sargent counties. While there are 2 separate housing authorities, both use the same application. Both housing authorities have a criminal policy as well. The housing authority will deny applicants assistance for life for an arrest on the following charges: accessory to murder, attempted murder, homicide, murder, manslaughter, lifetime registered sex offenders, threatening a housing employee, or manufacture or distribution of methamphetamine. An applicant will be denied if they have more than 1 non-violent or non-drug felony in the past 3 years. Additionally, an applicant will be denied if they have more than 2 non-violent or non-drug related misdemeanor arrests, charges, or convictions within a 3-year period. The housing authority can deny a family if charges may pose a safety risk for the housing authority employees or other tenants. For example, the housing authority will deny any registered sex offender housing assistance. Applications may be accepted if the applicant can demonstrate, in writing, a current relationship with local support agencies. Approval from the housing authority does not guarantee housing, as landlords may have a different criminal policy. Now on to filling out the application. When filling out the application, be sure to write clearly and fill out all portions of the paperwork. To begin, you will fill out the application information, which includes the name of the head of household, as well as a current mailing address and contact information. Be sure to provide contact information so that the housing authority can contact you. Once you have filled out your contact information, it's time to choose your waiting list preference. Be sure to select a county so that it is clear which housing authority you will be applying under. Some preferences require additional documentation. If one of the preferences you select requires this additional information, be sure to provide it. Next is the demographic portion of the application. Be sure to check yes or no for this portion and provide additional information as necessary. For example, if a member of the household is a student in higher education, provide verification showing enrollment, such as a class list or tuition statement. Each person who is living in the dwelling must be listed, even if they are a minor. The head of household should be listed first, and the rest of the members can go in any order. Be sure to list the social security numbers, birth date, and gender for each individual. It is important for us to collect this demographic information for all members of the household. Check yes or no for each household member for each question listed. Race is listed in the last column. You will also need to note immigration status if not a permanent resident. When reporting unearned income, simply list the household member and write the amount of income in the appropriate slot. Be sure to list the income in the appropriate line. For example, if an adult is receiving Social Security benefits on behalf of a minor in the household, that income should be listed under the minor, not the adult. Any income marked on this portion of the application should also have supporting documents that should be submitted. For example, a letter from the Social Security Administration that notes the monthly payment. If you receive any regular financial support from an individual or organization, that is considered a contribution. Contributions are considered income and must be reported to the housing authority. Any employment or self-employment should be noted on the earned income section of the application. If there is not enough room on the application to list all incomes in the household, please attach another sheet with the additional incomes. Any earned income reported should be accompanied by verifications, such as the 2 most recent pay stubs. Once you have listed your income, you must also list any assets for members of the household. These include bank statements, CDs, burial funds, property, and more. Once again, if you have listed an asset on your application, be sure to provide the appropriate documentation. When filling out your application, be sure to sign the release of information. The release of information allows HUD or the housing authority to request and obtain information from the sources listed on the form. This information is for verifying eligibility for housing assistance. All adults in the household should sign this form. Now that the application is complete, what are the next steps? If you are deemed eligible, you will have an initial appointment where the voucher and request for tenancy are issued. The household finds a rental unit, returns the completed request for tenancy to the housing authority, an inspection is done, the landlord completes the HAP contract, and then housing assistance begins. The payments from the housing authority go directly to the landlord, so you only need to worry about paying your portion of the rent. Applying for housing can be a complicated and confusing process. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us at the office. You can email us at office@greatplainsha.com, mail the completed forms to the address listed here, or give us a call. If you reach our voicemail, please leave a message. This helps both us and you. Thank you for watching this informational video, and good luck.